Ladies and gentlemen, I got a show for you. You do not want to miss this one. We're going to talk about the government shutdown, these lunatics on the left. We're also going to talk about how some of these pundits on the left are admitting that they're full of crap and that nobody's going to vote for them in the midterms. Nobody wants to vote for these crazy Democrats. But guess who decided to use the N-word to bring up yours truly? Lil Hitler, Nick Fuentes. We're going to talk about him. But before we get to that, I want to talk about J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk at Ole Miss. What a beautiful display of exceptionalism, a beautiful display of patriotism. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. And also, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms and follow me on my Substack. Did you see that appearance of J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk at Ole Miss? One of the biggest events. People waiting outside in the cold is what I saw. And this was, in my opinion, when you put the noise aside and all the foolery and all the disagreements between conservatives, when you put all that aside and you look at an event like this that Turning Point put on, it gives me encouragement for the future of our country. It gives me encouragement for the Vice President of the United States that he know what the F he's doing. And when 2028 comes around, we're going to blow their socks off. And it also gives me encouragement that Erika Kirk can still come out and deliver wholesome, reasonable messaging. Not like others in the movement who are focused and fixated on causing division and all this other crazy stuff. This is the legacy of Charlie Kirk. Roll the clip. Hold on, before you roll the clip, I just want to put this in perspective. This is not her entire speech. Her entire speech was obviously beautiful. You can go back and watch it on Turning Point's website, but I just wanted to put the main part that really struck my heart, that most people were just, literally, you could barely watch it without tearing up. Roll the clip.
Being the courageous generation that you are, stand up for the truth, defend life, love your family fearlessly, love your spouse fearlessly, love this country, defend her, and serve our God. And don't think that it's someone else's role to do it. You do it. You do it. Do it for Charlie. Do it for Charlie. The Lord is calling you to rise. Please hear me when I say that courageously. He is. Do not be afraid. It is so easy to be afraid, but we are commanded to not be afraid. And when you take that stand, it will encourage and inspire someone else to do the same.
Don't you feel when you listen to her speak a level of optimism and a level of clarity? Like with all the smoke and noise going on, this is what the message is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about young people be encouraged, have faith, trust God, be bold, speak the truth. This is all that these young people are doing on campus every single day and in their lives, is doing what she's telling them to do, not push conspiracy theories and be silly. It's for you to do what Charlie would be telling you to do. I'm glad that she spoke out and did it this way. I would love for her to go on and trash people all day long. I would love that. But I believe that God has positioned people to do certain things at certain times. And I think the calm, still voice of Erika Kirk in a time such as this is invaluable to listen to and to hear. Now, in addition to what Erika said, obviously I think she opened. J.D. Vance impressed me to no end because J.D. Vance is a stand-up man. When he speaks, I see a person who's genuine. When he hated Trump, he was genuinely hating Trump. Now that he's woken up, just like probably 90% of the people that are watching this, he genuinely believes what he's saying. And unlike many other people that went on campus, and you know one person in particular I'm talking about, J.D. Vance came and did what I would do. It's when young people ask you questions, you don't threaten to beat them up and say, F you, get off the stage. You respond to them with reasonableness, with facts, with truth, and with dignity. And that's what J.D. Vance did. Let's get to a couple clips from J.D. Vance. People are attacking the Trump administration. Let's go to clip 101. They're attacking the Trump administration because of other individuals who I don't want to say their names. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They get out and they say all these stupid things, and then they rile up these young ignorant folk who just as ignorant as the ones on the left. Now they considered to be on the right, asking these ridiculous questions, some of them in poor faith. Some of them are actually acting in good faith because they don't know the truth from a lie. That's why good people need to be telling them the truth. But they get out here and they say all these things through propaganda, but this is the response that you expect. Roll the clip.
People said that the president of the United States was going to get us into a multi-100,000 troop regime change war for Israel. This was 4 months ago. This was 6 months ago. Now, the people who accused the president of the United States of wanting to get us into a regime change war for Israel, I wonder if they stepped back and said, you know what, we were wrong about that. Because the president of the United States did not want to get us into a regime change war for any other country. He wanted to knock out a nuclear facility and get everybody back home, and that's exactly what he did. So I understand there's some frustrations out there, but I think the president of the United States, more than any president of my lifetime, is willing to stand up to anybody if he thinks it puts the interests of the American people first. Thank you.
It's like music to my ears. Where are the people at that were saying Donald Trump is doing regime change? Donald Trump is getting us into World War. It never happened. Where are you at? You should have just shut up and listened to J.D. Vance and trusted the president that you elected. But instead, you being silly. Thank you, J.D. We got more. We got 4 or 5 other clips. Clip 102. Let's go to J.D. Vance destroying the Israel First narrative, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard. But J.D. Vance did it, wrote a clip, or J.D. Vance exposed it, wrote a clip.
Christian man, and I'm just confused why that there's this notion that we might have owe Israel something, or that they're our greatest ally, or that we have to support this multi-$100 billion foreign aid package to Israel to cover this, to quote Charlie Kirk, ethnic cleansing in Gaza. I'm just confused why this idea has come around, considering the fact that not only does their religion not agree with ours, but also openly supports the prosecution of ours.
Hold on. Before JD get there, I honestly think that this kid asked this question in good faith. I really do. I don't think he was trolling. Some people get up there trolling. I think he asked this in good faith because this is the narrative that's being pushed. Let JD take it.
Yeah, so let me say a few things about this. First of all, when the President of the United States says America first, that means that he pursues the interests of Americans first. That is our entire foreign policy. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have alliances, that you're not going to work with other countries from time to time. And that is what the president believes, is that Israel, sometimes they have similar interests to the United States and we're going to work with them in that case. Sometimes they don't have similar interests to the United States. And this example, the most recent Gaza peace plan that all of us have been working on very hard for the past few weeks, the president of the United States could only get that peace deal done by actually being willing to apply leverage to the state of Israel. So when people say that Israel is somehow manipulating or controlling the president of the United States. They're not controlling this president of the United States, which is one of the reasons why we'd be able to have some of the success that we've had in the Middle East. Now, you ask about, sort of Jews disagreeing with Christians on certain religious ideas. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the realities is that Jews do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. Obviously, Christians do believe that. There are some significant theological disagreements between Christians and Jews. My attitude is, let's have those conversations. Let's have those disagreements when we have them. But if there are shared areas of interest, we ought to be willing to do that too. For example, one thing I really, really care about is the preservation of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. Christians believe that that is the site where Jesus Christ was crucified, and also that his tomb is right there as well. My attitude is, if we can work with our friends in Israel to make sure that Christians have safe access to that site, that's an obvious area of common interest. I am fine with that. What I'm not okay with is any country coming before the interests of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we're American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's what we're going to do. That's what we try to do every single day, I promise you. Thank you.
What else needs to be said, bruh? Like, every American with common sense think just like J.D. Vance. Like, people confuse Zionism with or that Jews are God's chosen people as if we think that they're better than us or something stupid like that. Nobody believes that. You put these things in proper position. At the end of the day, America comes first. At the end of the day, I understand and you understand, if you have a connected brainstem, that Jews and Christians don't agree theologically. Christians don't even agree with each other theologically. The Catholic Church and the Protestant Church disagree fundamentally on a few elements. That's why you have a Catholic and a Protestant church. Then you have denominations. Apostolic Pentecostal don't agree with Baptists. Baptists don't agree with Church of God in Christ. Theologically, these denominations within the Christian Protestant faith don't even agree with each other. So it's not about whether you agree with them or not, or none of that other stuff. We understand that we don't agree with them. But do we have commonalities and common interests? I'd rather for Jewish people which obviously Jesus was a Jew, and all of the apostles and Paul, who wrote the majority of the New Testament, or at least we took his writings and applied them to the majority of the New Testament. He was a Jew. I mean, at least I'd rather be friendly or communication and have a commonality with them to preserve all the Christian sites and everything that's associated with Jesus than getting it taken over by radical extremists who would tear all of it down. We would have no access to it. Just like Bethlehem used to be a Christian majority city, and now it's a Christian minority. It used to be 90+ Christians. Now the Palestinians have taken over and control. Now it's 17% Christian. What do you think is going to happen to the rest of Israel if somehow they took over? Put your thinking cap on. JD, come back, JD. Let's go to clip 103. He continues. Roll it.
Pushing out policies that hurt us, and these policies are not even solving the problems. These policies are just creating chaos.
Ma'am. Okay, so again, I'm gonna finish answering the question, and then if I've answered all 9 of your questions in less than 15 minutes, then we can keep on going. We got to have a little fun, right? So here's the thing. I can believe that the United States should lower its levels of immigration in the future, while also respecting that there are people who have come here through lawful immigration pathways that have contributed to the country. But just because one person or 10 people or 100 people came in legally and contributed to the United States of America, does that mean that we're thereby committed to let in 1 million or 10 million or 100 million people a year in the future? No, that's not right. We cannot have, I'll go and finish. We cannot have an immigration policy where what was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago binds the country inevitably for the future. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world. It's to look out for the people of the United States. Now,
I like this guy. I like J.D. Vance more and more every time I listen to it. So I cannot wait for him to be the president. I really can't wait. I love Donald Trump, though. Don't get it twisted. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Bull in the China shop, he has his time. This is why these mindless people that's like, well, Donald Trump gonna do a third term. That man 80-something. Let him rest. Let him golf with his family for once and not have to worry about getting killed every day. J.D. Vance is qualified. I got more. Let's go to clip 104. Roll the clip.
So here's something that I want conservatives. I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is we cannot be afraid to do something.
Hold on a second, Shouty. What's wrong with that boy, man? What's wrong with Shouty, boy? Nick, what's wrong with Shouty, boy? Why is his eyes doing that, though? He was looking out the, but come on, boy. That's a little too much sugar in that tank, boy. Go back, man. Let's start that clip over, man. Look at his eyes. I want people that are watching it. Look, what is he looking at on the side and the other side? Then he got his shirt tucked in. I mean, it's okay to have your shirt tucked in, but you kind of look a little sweet, man. It's okay. It's okay. We welcome everybody that's conservative in the movement. Okay, roll the clip.
So here's something that I want conservatives. I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is
he
we
a real
cannot
human?
be afraid to do
Hold on.
something.
I can't. Is he malfunctioning? I mean, homeboy doing like this. Maybe he's nervous. Let me not beat him up too bad because it takes a lot of courage, man. To be honest, like I do this for a living, so it would be nothing. I mean, I would probably get nervous to come and ask a question like that in front of all these people, especially if you dissent from what the speaker is saying in front of 30,000 people. I don't know how many people are in this place, but so I get it. I'm joking with him a little bit, but come on, bro. I mean, all right, roll the clip. Start it over. Let's listen to the whole clip. Come on, JD.
So here's something that I want conservatives. I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is we cannot be afraid to do something because the left might do it in the future. The left is already going to do it regardless of whether we do it. That is the takeaway of the last 40 years. And in particular, if you look at what we're doing, if Joe Biden wanted to deploy the national.
All right, love that. Let's go to the last one. I think this is probably one of the best clips that have been shared online, and you guys can go back and watch his entire speech without my interruptions in it. We'll link it, the Turning Points clip in the description section, but you guys can go back and watch it. But let's listen to clip 105, J.D. Vance lessons on Charlie Kirk. Of Charlie Kirk. Wrote a clip.
I know not all of you are Christians, but for the Christians out there, I think that it is very important to remember that despair is actually a sin. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to criticize. It's okay to think that things aren't going well with a particular issue, but we are called to never give up hope. But I think one of the critical lessons of Charlie Kirk's life to his dying breath, this was a man who never lost hope in his creator and never lost hope in the United States of America. So let's remember that and carry that forward as a way to remember. And the second thing that I want to say is in line with despair being a sin. Look, I imagine that I can tell most of you apparently agree with a lot of what I said. I'm sure that a lot of you disagree with some of the things that I've said. That's okay. We don't need in our political movement people who agree with us on every single issue. We got a couple of questions about Israel. We got a couple of questions about the National Guard deployments. We don't need somebody who agrees with us on every single question or every single issue. What we need is people of good faith who love the United States of America and are willing to work hard to save it. So when you look at all the accomplishments, you look at the accomplishments of the last 9 months. We inherited the worst border crisis in the history of the United States of America. We shut down the border, and net immigration is 2.5 million lower today than it was in 9 months. That means the total number of people that have been sent out of this country is 2.5 million. We have 2.5 million fewer illegal immigrants than we had. That's a great accomplishment. We We inherited a terrible affordability crisis from Joe Biden, and I'm not going to tell you everything's perfect because it was a real bad situation that we inherited, but inflation is consistently below economists' expectations, and we are chipping away at it every single day. We inherited an economy where we had the largest trade deficit in the history of the United States of America. In 9 months, Donald Trump's tariff policies have cut the American trade deficit by over half. That means we're making more of our own stuff, and we're actually employing American workers to do it. And all that is to say that very often, Charlie Kirk would call me and he would say, not attaboy, but he would say, do more, do more, do more. And I listened to Charlie because he was a dear friend and because I knew that he loved this country. My point is, the best way in your life to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy, it's not to despair, but to hope in the future of this country. If you disagree with something, then get involved in the movement to save this country. If you think that we could be doing more, then pick up the phone and get involved in the effort to change our minds and change the future of the United States of America in the process. My friends, the rebels of Ole Miss, despair is a sin. Do not give in to despair. Let's keep fighting to save the United States of America. Thank you and God bless you.
President J.D. Vance, man, I'm just inspired by J.D. I'm not lying, man. You know, real recognize real. When you see somebody who's genuine, who's a stand-up and a leader, and J.D. Vance is not that much older than me. I think he's like 41 or something like that. So J.D. Vance is, 4 years older than me, 4 or 5 years older than me? And he's an inspiration to me because I see a man who's a father, who's a Christian, who is willing to take the shots literally and physically. Literally and not literally. He was willing to take the shots. He's willing to put his life on the line, his family in danger, to stand up for American values. And a young guy in his 40s, my generation, this is what you want to see from people. And he answered those questions methodically and genuinely, not with propaganda, with a propagandist stance. And this is exactly what America stands for. And let me give a quick statement to the weirdos out here that are even on the pro-Israel side. I saw people, and I'm not trying to bash everybody. That's why I'm not going to name anybody, but this idea is toxic. The pro-Israel people that's mad at J.D. Vance's statement. I saw a few online. I thought I was tripping. I said, somebody's commenting on the wrong video. They must have watched the video and commented something else. Some people are mad at what J.D. Vance said in his speech against that guy, that kid that was, saying whatever about Trump being controlled by Israel. And JD said, not this president. Let me school you real quick for you pro-Israel people that are, because y'all, everybody's silly on every side. When you start going super extreme on stuff, you silly. First and foremost, JD Vance said, not this president. Well, he can't speak for other presidents whom he did not serve under. You want him to just make up a lie and say Joe Biden wasn't controlled whatsoever. Obama wasn't controlled whatsoever. George Bush, when George Bush was a president, JD and me were like 20. I think I may have been like 19. JD Vance was like 23. How he gonna tell you who getting played in politics or not? He ain't here to try to guess and estimate who is what. He's telling you the man that I serve under, whatever rumors y'all putting out there, this ain't happening. People want him to say, Israel hasn't controlled any president. How do you know? Now, we know Israel didn't control Joe Biden because Joe Biden wouldn't even meet with Benjamin Netanyahu when he came to the United States of America. So we know he wasn't controlling him. Then you go back to Donald Trump's first term. He definitely wasn't controlling Donald Trump. And then you go back to Obama. And you got to say, Obama wouldn't even recognize Jerusalem as the capital. So they weren't controlling him, had no control over him. Then you go back to Bush, maybe. But that ain't got nothing to do with me because I don't know what their administration was. I wasn't even in politics when Bush was the president. But I can tell you there ain't nobody controlling President Donald Trump. We tell them what to do and where to go and how to do it. And if it's not in the interest of America, we don't endeavor, period. Let's get to some more stuff. The Democrats admit that they're phony, sellout. I want to say something else, but I'm trying to be a Christian in the spirit of Charlie Kirk and J.D. Vance, just what he just said. Let me try to calm down the rhetoric. They admitted that they're fools and that they're wrong. However, before we get to that, I want to go to the shutdown stuff because it'll lead into them admitting how silly they are. Finally, but let's go to the government shutdown. Chris Cuomo shocked me. Clip 201. Chris Cuomo actually came out and said the quiet thing out loud. I think, I didn't like him at first, right? When he was lying on CNN every day of his life, he was telling people to get vaccinated. Then remember, y'all, he wasn't vaccinated. Or not vaccinated. He didn't take he had COVID. He was supposed to be off work. Remember the guy snitched on him in his elevator at his apartments and told everybody he was out. He wasn't quarantining like he was supposed to. Then he almost got into a fist fight with a dude on a bike who told him to go in the house because he had COVID and he would walk this dog like everybody else should have. But yet on CNN, he was lying to people. And he was pushing all that stuff. He hated Donald Trump. He did all this. And now that he's off of CNN, hey, maybe we're on to something, y'all. Maybe there's something about this. When you work for CNN or Fox News, or you work for a corporate company, you have a fake personality. But when you leave is when we know who you really are. Look at what happened with Tucker Carlson. When he left, all of a sudden, this is the Tucker we get. Chris Cuomo, now that he left, this is the Chris Cuomo we get. Megyn Kelly, remember, we didn't like Megyn Kelly at first, remember? She hated Trump openly. And in the debate, she hated Trump. And then all of a sudden, Megyn Kelly on her own. Now this is the real Megyn Kelly. I love Megyn Kelly. Or most of what she say. Let's roll Chris Cuomo, and let's see what he had to say. Roll the clip.
Don't believe the hype about ending the shutdown for people on food stamps. First of all, what happened in the military? What happened to air traffic controllers? You know what happened, right? They're playing a game. Senator Schumer is now moving the goalposts, right? What's more sympathetic? Air traffic controllers are pretty sympathetic. Well, what's more sympathetic than they? Members of the military who protect our freedoms on food kitchen lines. Okay, what's more sympathetic than them? Poor kids who can't eat. Oh, okay, let's move the goalposts to that. We want a standalone bill only for food stamps. And the other ones can just go fuck themselves. You see, this is the game. Schumer's not wrong. They should be funding those things. But he's the one who shut down the government. Yes, Republicans are in control of all three houses, but we are in a shutdown right now because of what Democrats did in the Senate by using the filibuster where they got to get 60 votes to keep the continuing resolution from being passed. Look, the only fix, the real one, is to reopen the government. Now, here's the problem. Nobody ever ends a shutdown by getting what they want. It's never happened. Why? Because both sides know if you give them what they want, you're just going to keep having shutdowns. So what's the fix? What's the midterm winning move? Vote for me. I will fight for a bill and make a law that says no more shutdowns. And you create a period during which, yes, there's a constitutional demand that they pay Congress no matter what. They're not part of discretionary spending. But they can have their own house rules, and they should pay for every delay past a certain point where they don't pass a budget. If they have to use a CR instead of passing a budget, that's another fine. They are playing a game. If they wanted to pay and get people paid and take care of people, they wouldn't have shut down the government.
1,000%. That's a guy I'd like to have a old fashioned with. Probably smoke a cigar. I feel like he's changed so much, and I like the Chris Cuomo like this, in my personal opinion. I'm probably gonna be in New York soon. Maybe he live out there. Maybe I'll solicit him for a cigar. Byron Donalds, the next governor of Florida, which I hope that he will be. The guy's brilliant. Clip 202. Let's go with Byron Donalds and what he said, which somebody said I look like Byron Donalds. Do I look like Byron Donalds? See, you think all black people look alike. I knew that's what you really felt. No, I'm just playing. Roll the clip.
This is really all because of Chuck Schumer. He's trying to prove that he's tough. And so, yeah, you have SNAP, WIC, you have military officers and military frontline men and women who are not going to be paid, air traffic controllers not being paid, Border Patrol agents not being paid, ICE agents not being paid. And that's all because Chuck's trying to demonstrate that he's a tough guy, because there's really nothing else to discuss All he said was, let's leave the government open and we'll have these further conversations on the other issues that are up for discussion. Yeah. But we're not going to do that during a shutdown. But on a broader level, you want to talk about the food stamp program and these other benefit programs that have been in existence for a long time. They've really become an area where you're not seeing people getting help and coming off of those programs. There is some of that does exist. I don't want to say it doesn't exist at all. But the broader concern is what happens if you have a segment of the population just continuously being on these programs. That's not helpful to them. It's not helpful to the American economy writ large. It's not helpful for upward mobility or productivity. And so there's some things that we're going to have to look at with these programs into the future.
Love it. Let's go to Jake Tapper. He finally made a statement about it. This is clip 203. And then we're going to listen, y'all. It's methodical. Trust the process. I'm showing y'all all these, and I'm going to get to the craziest clip you ever seen of Chuck Schumer here in a second. I can't believe he cussed like he did. I thought it was AI, and then I noticed it was on his page. Chuck Schumer is insane. These Democrats are insane. But we're going to get to that because I want to show him lose his mind and then show the hypocrisy. But let's get Jake Tapper because y'all know he is never really favorable on our side. But all of a sudden, these people are waking up for some reason. Roll the clip.
The Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their
By
tactics.
the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3 weeks worth of SNAP funds.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me tell you that for the grandparents, for grandparents
it is a big deal
that
to me.
literally are feeding their children,
my point is that it's a short-term solution.
In those accounts,
it's a short-term.
At the end of the day, people need to be able to feed their families, and Saturday is when those funds run out.
If you feel so
and
strongly,
we are fighting
Congresswoman,
to get
why
that
not
funding.
ask the Senate Democrats from New Mexico to vote to open the government so that the SNAP funds...
Sir, I am here in the House of Representatives. It is shut down. I am fighting to get the government reopened. I am fighting to get funding put back into SNAP that is already existent, and I am fighting for the American people. I am here. But show me a single Republican that is here. Not a single one is here to make sure that Americans are fed on Saturday.
Already voted
That
yes.
is why I am here.
Democratic Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico.
Well, if you can be a fly on the wall in these studios after they cut the person, how much trash they probably talk about these people, because you could tell he was incredibly annoyed. Why are they lying to people? So you think the government shut down, some military funding is not there, people can't get food stamps are shut down, so you can keep what? Illegals getting money. This is what this is all about. Which one is worth which? Open up the government. You guys can negotiate this stuff later. But they don't want to. They want illegal aliens to continue to get Medicare and Medicaid access. This is what they want. And don't lie and say they're not getting it. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But you guys wouldn't have shut the government down. Every Republican has voted yes on opening the government up. The Democrats are the one. We only need like 4 or 5 of them. And then we can open up the government. They're lying pieces of sugar honey iced tea. All right, let's get to Schumer head. No. It's J.D. Vance, and then we're going to go to Schumer, and then we're going to go to Schumer's hypocrisy, and then we're going to get to the next topic. But clip 204, roll the clip.
Let me just say on the government shutdown in particular, the reality here is that there's a very simple bill that just reopens the government. It does it through pretty much the end of the year. That got every single Republican in the House of Representatives to support it. and then it got 52 Republicans in the Senate and 3 Democrats in the Senate to support it. But because of weird Senate procedural rules, it requires a 60-vote threshold. So on that issue in particular, when you have every single Republican with like 2 exceptions in both houses of Congress, I feel pretty confident. I know that I'm partisan. I know I have an R next to my name, but I feel pretty damn good saying the shutdown is the Democrats' fault because we voted again and again to open it. Now, but there's a broader question there, and I think most Americans, whatever their political persuasion, would actually like the country's political parties to work together better to solve the problems. And look, and I agree with that. And my approach when I was in the United States Senate was to try to find some issues where we could agree with the other side on and try to work with them on it. And like, let me give you one example. I really worry about concentration in the corporate sector. I worry about big corporate monopolies. I worry that when you have only 1 or 2 companies dominating an entire sector, it's bad for liberty and it's bad for prosperity. So you may be shocked to hear this, but I actually worked with Elizabeth Warren on some anti-monopoly stuff when I was in the United States Senate. But here's the problem. The problem is there is actually a lot of things where we could work across the aisle. There are a lot of President Trump is in my view, you haven't seen organized labor ever get behind a Republican at least in 100 years like they have behind Donald J. Trump. There are a lot of areas of common ground on that question. The problem is, as reasonable as some of these people can be in private, in public, the current obsession of the Democratic Party in leadership, I'm not saying every Democrat in the country, but the current obsession of every Democrat in Congress is get President Trump, fight President Trump, attack President Trump. It is impossible for us to work across the aisle unless a person is willing to put down their partisan sword, shut the hell up about fake scandals related to Donald Trump, and actually work with us. That's the way you make this happen.
I like JD. Every time I hear him talk, man, he just cut straight to it. Let's get to Chuck Schumer head and this fool. I mean, listen to how he talking on his. I thought this was AI, bro, but he posted this, so I'm sure it's not AI. Listen to what he say in 2025. What was the other clip from? 2024. Just last year. This is what he say now, and this is what he said last year. Listen to now, and then we go to last year. Roll the clip.
On Saturday, for the first time in American history, a vicious, heartless president is cutting off food stamps to hungry children, elderly who can't afford enough food to feed themselves, veterans who are down on their luck, all because he wants to use them as hostages so that Democrats will stop fighting for people's health care. We can do both, provide better health care and provide SNAP benefits to the tens of millions who need it. This president is a liar. He says there's no money to provide food stamps because of the shutdown. That's bullshit. His own agriculture department said there's plenty of money. Every president during shutdowns has provided the money that's needed, even Trump in his first term. He is bludgeoning the American people, using the most innocent of victims to try and go along with his cruel shutdown, which takes away health care from millions of Americans. He is the most vindictive politician America has ever seen, and the most heartless man America has ever seen in the presidency. We're fighting him every step of the way.
Please donate to so-and-so and so-and-so. That's what's the next line on this. Really, he's the most heartless president that anybody. All right, let's get to Chucky.
One of the things that Republicans are also doing, and they're doing in the White House press briefing, with the running sound of Democrats talking about shutdowns in the past, including sound of you. This is the type of thing you've said about shutdowns in the past. Let's listen.
What if I persuaded my caucus to say I'm going to shut the government down, I'm going to not pay our bills unless I get my way? It's a politics of idiocy, of confrontation, of paralysis. Shutting down government over a policy difference is self-defeating. We can never hold American workers hostage again. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down.
So we know that these people are crooked, 2 left shoes on a 3-legged man. But Nick Fuentes, and we're going to get to him in a second. Trust me. I got 2 short clips, and then we're going to get to him. Nick Fuentes is a clown. And everybody that has been supporting him are all unreasonable individuals. It's no way you can say you're a Christian and listen to some of the clips that I'm going to show of him. It's no way. Not you, but him. Maybe you think you're a Christian, but you can tell me this guy is Christ-like, and people are comparing him to Charlie Kirk as if they're equal. That's insane to me. But the Democrats admit finally Fetterman and that, I wanted to call her something, but I'm not. I'm saved. Fetterman and Abby Phillips get on TV and actually say the quiet thing out loud. Let's go to 301 for Fetterman, who's going to be a Republican soon. You just wait. Roll the clip.
Never going to change my party, but clearly we've lost the argument, and right now I think it's entirely appropriate to really be honest and just figure out why exactly have we effectively lost 2 out of the last 3 cycles, and a lot of the things we've really kind of really lost our connection with American voters in ways. And I think we can't just be, well, Trump is always wrong, or that we're going to set the country on fire or whatever. That's just not true either, of course. But, when I represent a state like Pennsylvania, that keeps you honest. And you always can't forget that a lot of Americans happen to disagree with you. That does not mean that they are fascists or now they want to shred the Constitution.
But when you hear some Democrats saying Trump is acting like an autocrat.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. If you actually compare him to an actual autocrat, that is not just that. Now, last night, for example, people were complaining. They were protesting about, that's the Hitler thing. You just don't ever compare anyone to Hitler and those kinds of extreme things. And now look what happened to Charlie Kirk. I mean, the man was shot. Now we have to turn the temperature down. It's like we can't compare people to these kinds of figures in history. And this is not an autocrat. This is a product of a democratic election.
So you don't think that Trump is at all shattering any of the norms of democracy in any way?
I'm saying he's definitely different, but that's what America voted for. Again, I don't agree with many of these things, but that does not make him an autocratic.
But one of the things that I hear from Democrats a lot saying a reason why voters may not like Democrats is because they don't fight hard enough. Democrats should be fighting harder. What do you say to folks who say that?
What exactly is fighting? What is fighting? Delay more votes, or just vote every no on everything, or saying, well, if they're doing X, well, then that means it's wrong, that kind of a thing. It's like, what exactly is fighting?
I'll give you an example. It could be shutting the government down. Like some Democrats say, if this happens, it'll be Trump's fault.
That's not fighting. That's mutilating our nation. If you vote to shut our government down, you are going to harm millions of Americans. And why would you do this? Where's our leverage? It was wrong. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. Absolutely, that's true. It was wrong for the Republicans to do that. It would just be wrong for us for those things.
Bigger picture, has your party shifted or have you shifted ideologically?
My party is acting in a way they have forgotten. They have forgotten one of the reasons why we lost in 2024. Some of the most extreme things were weaponized against that. And now some people think now we have to double down on those things, or we must become more progressive or more extreme. That's absolutely not true.
And thank him for saying that, because this leads to Abby Phillips saying a very, very similar thing on, I think she was on The Breakfast Club, said the very similar thing. It's like they're going to the extreme and they just hate everything Trump is doing instead of fighting. What is fighting? You guys are not actually accomplishing anything. You just, and I think he meant instead of mutilating the country, manipulating the country is I think what he meant, but he had a stroke or something the other day. That's why he sounded like a 6-year-old, but at least he's fair and he's reasonable. Okay. Let's go to Abby Phillips clip 302, her on the Breakfast Club. I'm surprised Breakfast Club haven't had me on there yet. Hey, cause they know I'll tear that thing up, boy. They get in there talking crazy. And not saying physically, but I'm talking about with ideas. Let's listen to her. And they got her on a booster chair, just so y'all know, because she's got to be like 4'3". Roll the clip.
When you look at what Trump is doing as president, in a way, he's challenging capitalism. He's putting tariffs on countries indiscriminately, just because he wants to, making the case that he's doing it for Americans. He is taking government stakes in private companies. That's a Bernie Sanders idea, by the way. He is creating a government website where people can shop around for prescription drugs, another Bernie Sanders idea. So his willingness to just take some of these ideas the Democrats have been talking about and just do them, no matter how controversial they are, has been one of the things that, whether you like him or not, what people will say about Trump is that he does what he says. And I think that Democrats, one of the big problems that they have is that voters don't think they're going to do what they say.
That's a fact.
They say all the right things, but they don't think they're going to do what they say. And so whether it's challenging, you can call it challenging capitalism or challenging whatever, voters want to know that you're willing to buck the system for them. And I think Trump does that right now in a way that really like shakes people up and makes people really mad. But that is also why a lot of voters, whether they like him or not, they will describe him as effective.
Now, when somebody says something like this, if they're reasonable and genuine, they would say, I like a person running the country like that. I will vote for a person to get things done. She's making it somebody it's a Bernie Sanders thing. It's not a Bernie Sanders thing. It's an American people want things to get done thing. And so Donald Trump is not picking a side. He's saying that this is best for the American people. Bernie Sanders, as cuckoo as he is, that don't mean everything he say is wrong. Maybe his motives are wrong, but everything he say isn't wrong. Bernie Sanders could be right about a few things. Just like, I forget the guy's name, Dow, or I forget his name. The Asian guy that ran for president that was saying that the American people need a dividend. And he's not wrong. When the American government is making profits and making money, that should matriculate down to the American people because we are actually investing in the productivity of the government. So that means when I give taxes to the government and the government creates something that creates a profit or they do business with other countries and we have excess revenue coming into the system, then the people should get some of a kickback. And so we're investing our hard-earned money in the federal government. So some form of that makes sense to me. Not the people that don't pay taxes. If you ain't paying taxes, you don't get nothing. But if you are contributing taxes, there should be, in my personal opinion, the more taxes you make, the more of a contributing dividend you should get in the country's interest. That's my personal opinion. But just because Dow or whatever his name is was a complete nut job, in some other cases don't mean he's wrong in every case. Now let's get to the grand finale. Nick Fuentes, as some people call him. Only reason why I'm making these videos is because I believe Charlie Kirk, if he was still alive, he'll be crying out for us to say, you cannot humanize idiot people. What does humanization mean? Humanization doesn't mean you can't interview them. You can't debate them. Humanization means during the debate, are you going to bring up any of this stuff that I'm about to show in my video? Are you going to challenge him on anything that you claim are your core values? Humanizing somebody is saying this person, like for instance, let's say Hitler was still alive. Well, let's say we can go back in time because Hitler would be 100 years old or something crazy. But let's just say we go back in time. During that time period, Hitler did all these atrocities and all of the great, horrible things that he's done and the grave danger that he created amongst the world. Just say him and Stalin. If you interview Hitler or Stalin, normalizing them would be like, I'm going to let them just say all this stuff and I'm not going to push back on what he's doing to the Jews. Stalin's mass murdering of so many people. I mean, Stalin actually killed more Jews than Hitler did. And you're not getting, it's like interviewing Stalin and not bringing any of that up. That's humanizing people or normalizing, not humanizing, but normalizing people. People keep telling me, Brandon, you should debate Nick Fuentes. It's like, I'm not a wussy like Tucker Carlson and all these other people. You come on my show, bro, I'm going to get in your rear end. Pause. I'm going to get on your case. Nick told me to say that. It's his generation that did the pause. I'm going to get on your case, bro. You're not finna sit across from me, all that junk you were talking online about me being stupid out there, and I'm not going to say nothing about that. The crazy things you said about my friend Charlie Kirk, I'm not going to confront you on that, bro. The stuff you said about Erika that was disgusting. I'm not going to confront you on that. You running your mouth using the N-word against black people. I'm not going to confront you on that. All right, don't believe me. Let's pull these clips up, bro. First clip of the day is what this fool said about me. Tell me that you would hear somebody like Charlie Kirk talk like this. Just roll the clip.
That's your
Roll
question?
sent $21. There's this guy called Officer Tatum, a.k.a. Officer Talmud. You should watch his 30 minutes crash to Nick Fuentes x Tucker Carlson interview. Lol, and his comments are filled with Zios who despise you.
Why would I?
Hold on a second. I put this on my life. He would never say this to my face. You want to bet me? I will upload it on Instagram for you guys. If he would ever come and get in my face and say what he about to say on this thing, he would never do it. He would come when he approaches me, which he never would. He would be trying to be my friend and be nice to me, just like all these other fools that I catch in public, and they go, "Oh, Tatum, listen to what he say." Roll it.
An idiot. Hey man, Tucker, some. Hey man.
We shouldn't blur it. I want people to hear what he's saying.
Brandon Tatum is an idiot. Dumbest person I've ever heard. He should get an education. Officer Tatum should get an education. He should learn how to read.
And maybe he got the reading part right. But everything else he said is crazy. He said the N-word. He said all kind of other stuff in his speech. We were trying to block it so they don't ban us. But that's what he really said. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do on one of my other platforms that we don't get canceled on? I'm going to play the raw clip of it. Maybe on my Instagram or something, I'll play the raw clip. Y'all can go to my Instagram and find it, the raw clip of it, where he's saying the N-word and acting a fool. But we got a whole bunch of other clips. Let's go clip 402. And this is just a few clips I have. There's probably 400,000 clips of this fool just being a nut job. And Tucker brings him on, and people don't know this side of him, right? He go on PBD podcasts, he go on people's podcasts, and they go, But then people don't know that this is the other stuff he's saying on his own platform. Roll the clip.
Hey, I'm a stone cold white nationalist, and I love Hitler, and I don't want Indians here, and I'm not a Democrat, okay? And I'm not woke, and I'm not liberal.
All right. And let me preface it too, because I don't want nobody saying, Brandon, you took that out of context. I watched the entire video. He goes on to act like, oh, we can't talk like this. We can't talk like this because it's bad. So he's doing that superfluously. So there's no additional context to what he said. Let's roll clip 403. Roll it.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the asshole. No one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate. It's insensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there, and I don't like it. But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics. Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then, the day after the funeral, I'm getting 500 texts and emails. Erika Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure to donate $5, $15, $25. It's like, okay. Then they're doing a show. Did you see the show today? And so prescient. I said it last night. I said, I'm getting like a fake vibe. Something's off there. And people say, well, everybody grieves differently. Yeah, I don't know how much mileage we can get out of that one anymore. Something's not right there. Very bizarre, weird vibe there. And did you see the show? Erika hosted the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon, and she's like, she looks like she's over the moon. She's happy as a clam. And again, who am I to judge? Everybody grieves differently. She's a very devout Christian. Some people say maybe that's just strength, that's resolve. I don't know. It's one thing if your husband dies, period. It's another thing if your husband dies at age 31, unexpectedly. It's another thing if your 31-year-old husband unexpectedly dies because he gets publicly executed with blood gushing out in front of thousands of people screaming and running away. That's like something that's altogether different.
Now, think about if this was Charlie was alive somehow. He came back from the dead. What do you think he'll feel about a man talking about his wife like this? I just want us to put this in perspective. You know, the guy can entertain and all this stuff, but bro, you disrespecting a man's wife though. You ain't just asking questions. You disrespecting the way she's grieving the loss of her husband. You out here saying that she's fake. It's weird vibes. What's weird about it? You think she's fake? You think she's lying? You think she don't really love her husband? Bro, that's disrespectful to somebody's wife. That's why I'm mad because, see, I'm not fake like the rest of these people. Like, I really respected Charlie Kirk enough to be like, dude, it offend me when somebody's coming after his wife. We know Erika. My wife talks to Erika. My wife used to talk to Erika a lot. When she got married, she used to slow down a little bit, and I get it. She was having kids and stuff like that, so she wasn't as out there as she was before she got married and before she started having children. It's understandable. So there wasn't like a lot of communication as consistent as it was before. But my wife talks to Erika all the time. My wife talked to Erika just recently, or text her just recently. You disrespecting my homeboy wife like that. That's when I have a problem. And if you're somebody's real friend, if he came on my show, I'm going to confront him about that. I'm not going to just let it pass. Let's go to clip 404. Roll it.
Here's like my survival guide, okay? Nick's declassified survival guide. Okay, we had to say it. We had to say it there because for the joke, okay? Ned's declassified school survival. If you like that. Okay, we can't make jokes like that. That's not appropriate. That's racist. I get that. I disavow. I apologize. It's terrible. Nick's declassified survival guide. Here's some tips, okay? Rule number 1.
So you get it.
Carry a gun at all times. Now, rule number 2, about carrying a gun. This is what they'll tell you at a concealed carry class. You take any kind of class on firearms, and you should.
All right, enough of it. I think we heard enough. Let's go to clip 405. Roll it.
White people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them. Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see what happens. And nobody is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of black people pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way. You avoid their neighborhoods. You avoid going out on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And we are every bit justified because we see what's going on and we don't want to die. It's that simple.
Of course, this clip is an extended version of it. Maybe we'll put these extended versions somewhere else. I don't want to give him too much airtime, but the problem with this guy is that he's making it about race. No one should want to go anywhere where there's violence. Even black people shouldn't go to some places where there's violence. But to make it out to say us white people definitely shouldn't, because we're white and we shouldn't be around black people, that's where the problem comes in my opinion. In general, you don't want to be around places that are violent. But he got to make it about being white and white people deserve to be racist against black people. No, it's like you can avoid violence against any group of people. White people are violent too. Hispanics are violent too. Black people have violence. Now, some communities are more violent than others. So you avoid the community as people in general. Not just because you white. Because somehow you speaking up for all white people. It's like, it's complete stupid and asinine to me. Then he was on Cannon's show saying he don't want to race mix. He want his bloodline to be pure. As if every white person come from the same place. Then therefore every person comes from the same place if you want to go back to saying just because of the color of our skin. Well, at one point we all came from one place. And then through evolutionary, I would say involvement, but through evolution to a certain degree, we begin to have more melanin, less melanin, all of the other things like that. So we all came from the same place, to be honest, if you want to be real. But then you want to go with race. You say, well, Italian, French, white people come from different, Irish. White people are different. They're not all the same. But what he's saying is that if you white, we good no matter where you come from. Okay. Racist. All right, let's get to clip 406.
The Black Row sent $25. Welcome back, brother. Even though you're not frickin' brother.
Good to be back, my brother. Here, come on, we're brothers. But hey, good to hear from you, Good to hear from oh, wait, I said we weren't going to say the N-word. Well, that's not, it's just not like I said that other thing, so we're cool. But I appreciate you. Hey, good to be back. I'm a friend to all. I'm a friend to all black people. I'm a friend to all people. Friend to human beings.
Sent $10. I've seen some good shows in my time.
Now, it just said that don't be around black people and you got to be careful to get in a terror dome, but then he's a friend to all black people. Then he's saying the N-word. Come on, next clip, 407. We got one more clip and then we're going to be out of here. Roll the clip.
This some I should have started doing that. When the cops were talking to me, I should have just went full net. This some man. Hey, man, this some bullshit. And then, then they arrest me, and then I'm like, oh, Ossifer, please. I can't breathe. It's crazy. Let a nigga breathe. I cannot breathe.
All right, we got another clip, 408. This is the last clip. Roll it.
Remigration is inevitable.
Silver sent $109.
Yeah, we're on our
Goodness
way.
Gracious, see several Instagram reels of you with hundreds of thousands of views talking about letting a nigga breathe. Good job, you breath.
Yeah, that one went viral. Pretty cool. Thank you for the big super chat. People just love it when a white guy says, people don't even know who I am or anything, but they see a white guy say and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he just said that. It's like, dude, we're so past that. I don't even think about it like it's edgy. I just say it sometimes because it's just a word in my vocabulary. And it comes up on a normie's timeline and they're like, oh, did he just say, did a white person just say the N-word? And over here, we're just blasting them off all the time, this, that. And people on Instagram are like, did he just say, he just said, this is crazy. This is hilarious. You got to see, this is comedy. When this white guy said it, it's so funny. And me, I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I said it. Dude, people are so shackled. It's crazy. I feel like I'm the freest man in the world in some ways. Like, yeah, I'm very hated. And
can you say whatever word you want to say? Yes. But you say you're a Christian. You mock Charlie from not being Christian enough. You are grandstanding and going on podcasts with people that's supposed to be Christians like Tucker Carlson, who would chastise and say he hates Christian Zionists, but you don't hate people or you don't have a problem with people like this. There's a certain word and decorum that you should have as a Christian. And I know people make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get mad and say stuff. But if this is a common practice for you that every day or on your live stream to the world, as you're saying Jesus, you're cussing in the same sentence, you probably should think twice about it. I'm just putting it out there. So normalizing somebody like this as a part of our movement is stupid. Nobody agrees with this racist, anti-Semitic, and you should hear the stuff he say about J.D. Vance's wife because she's an Indian. You should hear the things he say about all kinds of racial things. There's no place in America for stupid stuff like this. We're all one, no matter what color you are. And we all hate crime. And we all want prosperity. It's not a color thing. But that's it. Need I say more? I love you guys. Go to TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get you one of these. It's one of the 100% of the profits go to Erika Kirk, and wherever she wants us to send it, we'll send it. We're gonna write her a big old check. We're gonna take a picture so y'all know I wasn't bullcorning. We got financial records, everything. So if they want to see it, we'll show it to them. We don't play games with people like this. 100% of profits going right to his family. We'll write that check. This is a cool one. This is not the limited edition one, but this is the newer one that we just made. We may make it limited edition. It's got the little Tatum badge with the crosses in there. We may make these limited edition. I'm not sure because we want to make them very unique so people can have them. It's only a few of them made. Nobody else makes these except us, and you can have one for your collection if you want to make it a collector's item. But like I said, all of this stuff will go to Erika Kirk. So thank you all for already helping. Many of you guys have. All of you that have volunteered here at the headquarters to help fold all these clothes that we had. So many orders we could barely keep up with. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. God bless you. God bless America. I'm out of here.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my